Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Mr. Show. I am Quentin. And let's get started. Um, oh man, what an eventful night for the NBA last night. Eventful. Now one game I really want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves game 2. Man, what a game for the Timberwolves that is. My Lord. At one point, they were up 32 on the reigning defending champs. Up 32, they finished the game winning by 26 points. 106-80. That's bad for Denver. Very bad. Now, I know I talked to a couple friends about the game. Rough. Very rough. And I know even before the series started, when I had found out Denver was going to be playing Minnesota in the Western Conference semifinals, I did pick Denver to win in 7. I figured this would be a Denver series, but to 7 games. Because this is not the same Minnesota team they played last year in the first round when I believe Denver won the series 4-1, I believe, last year in the first round. But this is a very different Minnesota team. Very different. Man. I also said, if Denver plays the way against Minnesota, the same way they played the Lakers, Minnesota will take the series. And I also said I will not be surprised if Minnesota does take the series. So I am expecting Minnesota to win despite picking the Denver Nuggets. Now you are down 0-2, 2-0 for the Nuggets. You are down. But you have a couple days to rest, get healthy. But this is a bad look. Very bad. Now, where to start on very bad? Because Jamal Murray. Ugh. I love Jamal Murray. Dude is an absolute dog. Do not get me wrong. Talented. I love Jamal Murray. That boy is special. Do not get me wrong. But since the start of the playoffs, he has been ice cold. Colder than sub-zero temperatures Antarctica if they had a baby. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. But that boy has been literally a no call, no show. Now, I get he's got the 2-game winners against the Lakers in that series. I get that. 2-game winners. I'm going to clap it up. Well loved, well deserved. But outside of those game winners, Jamal Murray hasn't really done much. Now, I believe in one game he did drop 23 against the Lakers in that series. I believe it was 23. I could be wrong. But outside of the 2-game winners and the 23-point game, hey, can you find Jamal Murray? Because I can't. Last night, he struggled. And if the Nuggets are going to win this series and hopefully take game 3, which is now in Minnesota, as Minnesota has already beat y'all twice at home this series, the one person who has to step up outside of Jokic is always going to be there. It has to be Jamal Murray. It has to be. It has to be Jamal Murray. Without a doubt. Now, I get You got Michael Porter Jr. You got Aaron Gordon. You got KCP. You got Reggie Jackson. But those guys got to step up too. But what I'm saying is, out of all those guys, the main guy that really needs, emphasize needs, to step up is Jamal Murray. Without a doubt. That man was so shook last night in that game. I don't even know if that was Jamal Murray. Man was pissed. Man was throwing I saw him throw a heating pad on the court, which I saw notifications. The NBA is going to look into that. Are they going to fine him? Which I do say he should get fined. Now, there have been talks of should he be suspended for Game 3. Personally, I don't know if he should get suspended, but should he get a fine? Indefinitely. That man, I don't think I've ever seen Jamal Murray so out of rhythm. It's a little concerning. It's a little concerning. Now, I know I didn't get to write any notes down or anything, but just looking off my phone, this is just Jamal Murray himself from the game last night. Just from him last night. Let me look. He played 36 minutes. As he should. Starting point guard, one of the best in the league. Of course. But listen to this. For field goals, 3 of 18. Now, I know Minnesota, in the regular season, I believe was the number 1 defensive team with the number 1 defensive efficiency. And currently, in the playoffs, they still hold that spot for the Minnesota Timberwolves for their defense. Their defense is strapped. Like, they're good. And they have been giving the Denver Nuggets a lot of trouble. Now, Game 1, Denver did lose by 7. Okay. It is a respectable loss to a Timberwolves team that can blow you out by 30, in which they damn near did in Game 2, which was a 26-point win for the Timberwolves. But let me get back to it. Jamal Murray, 3 of 18 on field goals, which I believe is 16%, 17% shooting. Ooh. Didn't really do any better against the Lakers. That's tough. That is very tough. I got my star player who last year, throughout the entire playoffs, I believe averaged around 30 points per game. Last year, shooting 16% in Game 2 this year. And not like he did any better in round 1 against the Los Angeles Lakers in that series. That is tough. And Jamal Murray's missing easy shots. Shots I know he can make. Fadeaways, jumpers, floaters, layups. He's missing them. I get you can't make all your shots. I get it. You might have a great night. You're going to have a cold night. But, man, it is hard to watch Jamal Murray right now. I know that boy can knock shots down. I know he's special. I know he can drop 40 easy. Like that. Like Thanos snapping his fingers. 40. But, damn. 3 for 18 on field goals. For a field goal percentage, 16%. That is terrible. Now, let me move on. 3 points. 3-point shooting. Field goals. 0 for 4. 0 for 4. He didn't make one. Not, like, who can even make one? And I know Murray can knock down threes. I know he can knock down the 3. But damn. 0 and 4 from 3? That's tough. That's tough. Mike Malone needs to figure something out. Switch up the game plan a little bit. Maybe stop having Murray take the ball up. Let Jokic take it. Let Gordon take it. Get Murray off screen, off ball. Let him go to his right. Because he can work when he goes to his right. And I saw last night, when he goes to his right, oh, you better hope he don't make those shots. Because when he starts making them, it might be game over for your team. For real. All right. But let me move on. I love the rebounds. He did get 13. 13 boards. Love it. He was there. He was getting rebounds. I love it. But those rebounds have to transition into points. And sadly, for him, nothing. Right. Looking at other stats right now, just for the Nuggets. And outside of Jamal Murray, we got KCP, went 2 for 6, 0 for 2 on 3, 13 rebounds, no assists, 4 personal fouls, finished with 4 points. 4. Now I know KCP he's not the most elite scoring player in the league. I know he might not give you 30 or 20, but KCP can score. He can score. And if you're going to want to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, KCP's got to show up. Now, I know in the Lakers series, he did get hurt a little bit, I believe, so that might have transitioned, but you can't use that as an excuse, man. You can't. He needs to show up. Next, Michael Porter Jr. A little rough night, but I really look for him to bounce back game 3. Michael Porter Jr. is special. Now listen to this. He had 39 minutes, right? 39 minutes. He shot 4 for 12. 4 for 12. 1 for 7 on 3. 1 for 7. Now, I want Michael Porter Jr. shooting threes. I think he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. And I know you, like I said, can't make all of them. But damn, 1 for 7 on 3 from a three-point shooter? That's tough. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, finished with 9 points. That needs to change too. Wasn't a good night for him either. 9 points. KCP with 4. Jamal Murray with 8. You need more from those guys, especially Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, because that's not going to cut it. Now, I'm going to save the leading scorer for last for the Denver Nuggets, but I'm going to go to the bench real quick before I get to Jokic and the leading scorer for the Nuggets. Listen to this. Denver's bench was horrible. I believe at one point in the game, Minnesota's bench to Denver's bench outscored Denver's bench, I believe, 23-7, I believe. Or something like that. It was very lopsided. Very lopsided. Couple players, 0 points. One player's got 1 point. Reggie Jackson, I know he did get hurt, so I'm going to cut him a little slack. But he finished with 3 points. 1 for 6 on shooting, 1 for 6 on field goals, and 1 for 3 on threes. So 33% from the 3. And I believe about 16% or so from field goal percentage overall. Everyone else, a couple players, 2 points. Christian Brown, or Braun, however you say his last name, 2 points. When I know that man is one of the best bench players in the league, and I know he can score. I know he can get the team hype, the crowd hype, energy going. I saw him last year as a rookie. Oh, that boy's cold. Wasn't a good night for him either. But now let me get to the leading scorer for the bench. I believe his name is Justin Holiday. 22 minutes, 4 of 6 shooting. Didn't take a lot of shots, but it's not bad. 4 for 6. 4 for 5 on 3-point shooting. Field goals. 4 for 5. So about 80%, I believe, shooting from 3. You have a bench player shooting better from 3-point range than Jokic. I know Jokic does not shoot a lot of threes, but he can shoot the 3. Shot better than him. Definitely shot better than Jamal Murray. Shot better than Michael Porter Jr., who's most likely the best 3-point shooter on that entire roster. KCP, he can shoot the 3. And just slightly better than Aaron Gordon, who I'll get to in a couple moments. And Justin Holiday finished with 13 points off the bench. Your bench has got to do better. Your bench has got to do better. Horrible. All right. Let me get to Jokic. 5 for 13 shooting. 0 for 1 on 3. Love the rebounds. 16 rebounds. He's going to do that all day, no matter what. No matter what, he's going to get double-digit rebounds. Even on a bad night. But he finished with 16. So he finished with 16 points, 16 boards, and 8 assists. So 16, 16, and 8. It's not a bad stat line. But when you're a former MVP and potentially the MVP for this year and arguably the best basketball player in all of basketball right now, 16 points is not going to cut it either. It's better than what everyone else gave for sure. But you're going to need a lot from Jokic too. Now, I believe game 1, I didn't really watch game 1, but I believe he finished with 32, 33 points. So in game 2, he had about half of that. And on top, I forgot to mention, the Timberwolves did not have Rudy Gobert. I'm going to pause for a minute. You're telling me not one person could score other than Jokic with 16, Holiday with 13, and this is going to transition into the leading scorer for the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon, who had 20. Outside of those guys, no one else can score. When the Timberwolves do not have Rudy Gobert, who I don't know if the award has come out yet, but could win Defensive Player of the Year. I get this cat. There's Naz Reid. I get there's, I believe his name is Jaden McDaniels. And then I believe his name is Nick Anderson. They can play defense. They can. Do not get me wrong. But on the level of Rudy Gobert, only 3 players get double-digit points. With starting from highest to lowest, 20 points, 16 points, and 13. Offense was a no-show. Defense was a no-show. Now let me get to Aaron Gordon. 8 for 14 on field goals. 3 for 5 on three. Not bad. I know Aaron Gordon doesn't really shoot the three a lot, but I know he can make them. 3 for 5. That's not bad for Aaron Gordon. 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Finished with 20 points. Now, Aaron Gordon finishing with 20. I like that. I don't think that's bad for Aaron Gordon at all. But when your best player, Nikola Jokic, finishes with 16, not bad. But against a powerhouse team such as Minnesota, Jokic needs to do more. But outside of that, Aaron Gordon showed up with 20. Respectable for him. But where in the hell was everybody else? Where in the hell was everybody else on the Denver Nuggets? They might as well just stay home. Like, it was so rough for the Nuggets. And now I'm going to give a lot of credit to the Timberwolves. A lot of credit. I said, not only to myself, but I said this to my wife and to a couple coworkers, the friends I mentioned earlier who love basketball, that this is not the same Minnesota Timberwolves team we saw play Denver last year by any means. Denver is rattled right now. Now going to the Timberwolves. Whoo, man. I didn't get to write things down either, so I am looking off my phone. So if you see me looking down, that's what I am doing. 4 players in double-digit points. 4. Everyone else, cold night. But you don't have to be an elite scorer on the Timberwolves when you have Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, who I've been seeing on a lot of social media might be the second coming of Michael Jordan. I mean, that kid's special. Do not get me wrong. And I believe his game is very similar to Michael Jordan, but I believe is more electrifying. Ooh, I'm having a hard time speaking. You got Karl Anthony Towns, who can score. Those are your 2 main scorers. Everyone else can give you like maybe 10, 15 points. When those 2 guys can give you 40 apiece. The hell, 50 apiece. You know what I'm saying? But starting with those 2, with Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Cat first. 10 of 15. You allowed Cat to shoot 10 of 15 from the floor. Only missed 5 shots. Damn. All right. 3 for 5 on 3. 12 boards. 1 assist. And damn near almost 30 points. Finished with 27. Cat's having a phenomenal year. Phenomenal. I love Cat. He's looking great. But damn. All right. Anthony Edwards, 11 for 17. Only missed 6 shots. 1 for 4 on 3. Shot 25%. Not his best night from 3. But he didn't really have to do damage from 3-point line. Because, damn, I watched the game. The amount of times he got to the paint and shot the mid-range, my Lord. It's cooking. Cooking. Right. 2 rebounds, 7 assists. Also finished with 27 points. So the Denver Nuggets let Cat and Ant-Man combine for what? 54 points. Just them two alone. Now, I'm not going to mention everyone else, but I'm going to talk about Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Here's why. Starting with Naz Reid. Was a cold night for him. 5 of 14 shooting. Very cold. But listen to this. He shot 50% from 3. 4 for 8. Finished with 14 points off the bench. Or did he start for Gobert? He might have started for Gobert. I could be wrong. No, he was off the bench. Because Anderson started for him. But yeah, finished with 14. And here's the other one. For Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 5 for 9 shooting. 4 for 7 from 3. Also finished with 14 points. So from 3-point range, Cat made 3 out of 5. Naz Reid 4 out of 8. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker 4 for 7. Damn. That's tough. If Denver does not figure this out and take Game 3 from Minnesota, Minnesota will win the series. And I've also said this to a couple friends. Between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, whoever wins this series is not only going to the Western Conference Finals, but will make the NBA Finals and win. And if Minnesota does win this series, they are going all the way. And I believe there's only 1 to 2, maybe 3 teams that could really stop them. If Denver doesn't, these are I'm going to say 3 teams, 3, that could beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, whether it's in the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it 4. 4. Let me take that back. 4. This is who they are. I'm going to start with the West. The 2 teams on the other side of the Western Conference Finals, Oklahoma City and Dallas. I believe those 2 teams are more than capable of beating the Minnesota Timberwolves. If the T-Wolves happen to come out on top and beat the Denver Nuggets in this series. I do. Now let me go to the East. For the East, I believe there are 2 teams from that conference that could beat Minnesota if they happen to take the Nuggets out. 1, the Boston Celtics. Hopefully they don't get allergic to winning in the finals. Because, I mean, damn. They allergic. And 2, in which was a controversial game last night, but it was one hell of a game for sure. The New York Knicks. Yeah. So in order, if I had to put them in order, I'm going to go with Boston at 1. I'm actually going to put New York at 2. Not only because of Jalen Brunson, who has been balling, averaging, I think, 35, 36 in the playoffs, the second leading scorer behind Brunson is Anthony Edwards, but that's a different conversation. But Boston, New York, and with the roles that they have with Dante DiVincenzo, Hardenstein, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart. 3 of those boys played on Villanova. Number 3, I'm going to go with Dallas. Not only because of Luka and Kyrie, who Kyrie does have a ring. He's got that championship experience. But because of the size of that backcourt. All 3 of those teams have size. And I'm not talking height. I'm talking like big. We talking big dudes, right? And then that's why I have OKC at 4. And it's just with the lack of size they have. I get they got J-Dub and the other Jalen Williams. But what concerns me is the lack. I don't know if I want to call it the lack, but a lot of scoring comes from SGA, which SGA is insane. But Josh Giddey needs to step up, but he doesn't really have to because of SGA. But say SGA doesn't have his typical 30-point game like he has. I believe he's got the most 30-point games this season, I believe. But Josh Giddey's got to be there just in case SGA's not. Now, we haven't had to see that, but that could happen because Dallas is a very good team. Very good team. And the number one concern is the lack of girth for Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet has had a phenomenal year. Much love and much credit to Chet. But that's the concern I have with OKC. And that's why I have him at the 4th spot with Boston at 1, New York at 2, Dallas at 3, not Minnesota, and OKC at 4 to beat the Timberwolves if Minnesota does happen to beat Denver in this series. If Denver does come back and win and figure things out, I don't think there's a damn team that's beating Denver. I don't. If Denver can figure things out, if they can all be healthy and click, because they're like this right now, frustrated, scattered everywhere. If they could calm down, figure things out, oh man, I don't think there's a damn team in the entire NBA that's knocking out Denver. I don't. I know games 3 and 4 are both in Minnesota. It's going to be a tough environment for the Nuggets. I don't believe they play until Thursday, Friday this week. So Denver does have time to game plan, figure things out. Any players that are hurt, get them healthy. We'll see what happens with Jamal Murray in the league. Is he going to get fined? Most likely. And if he gets a suspension for game 3, what happens? I think that's going to be the huge factor. If Murray is suspended, who steps up outside of Jokic? Because if Minnesota takes game 3, you can kiss Denver's chance of beating them and hopefully coming back in this series. You can kiss their championship hopes goodbye. Bye. You can. You can. But that's all I got for this one. Denver, Minnesota, game 3, I believe, is Friday. In Minnesota. I just had to look at it real quick. So, see how that goes. Thank you all for listening. I love y'all. Appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next episode. Y'all have a good day. God bless.